What's happening? It's your boy Profhit, EmCee, back again with another episode of Books and Beats. By now, the album is out. It's official. Chapter 1, The Pillage, is out there for y'all to check out. And we're going to be exclusively releasing the album on a new streaming service listening platform called Adelo. We're going to be working with this platform. We're going to be sharing and promoting the album, and we hope you guys will check it out, listen to the music, and see what it's about, and we could create something new.
Yeah. So, I'm your host, Big O, and we back again with another episode. Special. The album is dropping. This is crazy. What are we hitting on today?
So today, I decided to make another trip back in time and grab a book that I feel is very relatable to the things that's going on, not just in this country, but the world, and bring to you guys a special book called Animal Farm by George Orwell. One of the most critically acclaimed and biggest banned books in the world. And this is another book that I was so fortunate to read in middle school. And it was very transformative and created a concrete and firm understanding and mindset politically, philosophically, and in so many cerebral ways, and really directed me on my path and journey in life and how I see things, not just as a human being, but most especially a black man. And yeah, you know what I mean? It just, when I was thinking about the books that I wanted to do, and came up with this idea for Books and Beats in its inception. By the time we were halfway through it, this was a book that just screamed to me. And I was just like, yeah, I think this is a book that needs to be reintroduced into society. I don't think even in high school, a lot of kids are reading this type of material. I honestly don't even know if kids is reading books in school anymore, physical books for that. You know what I mean? But this wasn't a book that was for children, but the plot and the idea and the characters, it really spoke to me. At that time, I was about in the 7th grade, you know what I mean? 7th or 8th grade, either 12 or 13 years old, you know what I mean?
So you're saying this book is banned?
Absolutely. I mean, it might not be on the current ban list, but for maybe 40 or 50 years, it was on the ban list.
Is this just for high school, or is this?
This is for everybody. Like, this book definitely is not being sold in North Korea or being allowed to read. Maybe China, a lot of other countries. Originally, when the book was put out, it was thought that it was aimed towards the Stalinist regime of Russia. But obviously, the ideals and the philosophy and the characters, it rang true for a lot of totalitarian regimes and quote unquote communists and things of that nature. But honestly, you can put makeup on a pig, but it's still a pig. And what we call democracy sometimes ain't democracy.
So what you telling me is you got this book by other means, the Underground Railroad, or?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, art is and can be a tool for liberation, and it can create hatred and misunderstanding, and sometimes in a lot of cases lead to harm and death. You know what I mean? That's just the world we live in. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why governments and political powers that be don't allow these things into the hands of the people.
For sure, yeah. One of the books I actually got my hands on that was, I guess, illegal or not fit for public consumption was the White Pale Horse and Anarchy's Cookbook. Actually, I've never had a physical copy of that one, and I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna say how old I am, but shout out to LimeWire.
Shout out.
It had more than just music.
Yeah.
But let's get into this book, because I'm curious. You know, I'm a lover of forbidden knowledge, and not just so forbidden knowledge as in it's not good, but just forbidden knowledge as is you're trying to keep us away from it. Why so?
Absolutely.
So let's get into it.
Let's get into it, man. As always, we jumping into chapter 1 because we are still celebrating chapter 1, the pillage.
The pillage.
Man, and the crazy thing is, like, this book gets right into it, and it's called Animal Farm. It's set in a farm where these animals are, tired of being mistreated, looking to create a paradise of progress, justice, and equality. And in this first chapter, the one of the burgeoning characters, Major, he has a kind of a gathering of his peers and gives a speech because he feels like he's at the end of the road in life, and he doesn't know how much longer, but he knows it's not far, and he wants to inspire his fellow animals to not accept the standard so far and to demand more. So I'm going to read a passage from chapter 1, page 6. Comrades, you have heard already about the strange dream that I had last night, but I will come to the dream later. I have something else to say first. I do not think, comrades, that I shall be with you for many months longer, and before I die, I feel it my duty to pass on to you such wisdom as I have acquired. I have had a long life, and I have had time for thought as I lay alone in my stall, and I think I may say that I understand the nature of life on this earth as well as any animal now living. It is about this that I wish to speak to you. Now, comrades, what is the nature of this life of ours? Let's face it, our lives are miserable, laborious, and short. We are born, we are given just so much food as will keep the breath in our bodies, and those of us who are capable of it are forced to work to the last atom of our strength. In the very instant that our usefulness has come to an end, we are slaughtered with hideous cruelty. No animal in England knows the meaning of happiness or leisure after he is a year old. No animal in England is free. The life of an animal is misery and slavery. That is the plain truth. But is this simply part of the order of nature? Is it because this land of ours is so poor that it cannot afford a decent life to those who dwell upon it? No, comrades. 1,000 times no. The soil of England is fertile. Its climate is good. It is capable of affording food in abundance to an enormously greater number of animals than now inhabited. This single farm of ours would support 12 horses, 20 cows, hundreds of sheep, and all of them living in a comfort and in a dignity that are now almost beyond our imagining. Why then do we continue in this miserable condition? Because nearly the whole of the produce of our labor is stolen from us by human beings. Their comrades is the answer to all of our problems. It is summed up in a single word: man. Man is the only real enemy we have. Remove man from the scene and the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. Man is the only creature that consumes without producing. He does not give milk. He does not lay eggs. He is too weak to pull the plow. He cannot run fast enough to catch rabbits, yet he is Lord of all animals. He sets them to work. He gives back to them bare minimum that will prevent them from starving, and the rest he keeps for himself. Our labor tills the soil, our dung fertilizes it, and yet there is not one of us that owns more than his bare skin. You cows that I see before me, how many thousand gallons of milk have you given during this last year? And what has happened to that milk which should have been breeding up sturdy calves? Every drop of it's gone down the throats of our enemies. And you hens, how many eggs have you laid in this year? And how many of those eggs have ever hatched into chickens? The rest have all gone to market to bring in money for Jones and his men. And you, Clover, where are those 4 fowls you bore? Who should have been the support and pleasure of your old age? Each was sold at a year old. You will never see one of them again. In return for your 4 confinements and all your labor in the fields, what have you ever had except your bare rations in a stall? And even the miserable lives we lead are not allowed to reach their natural span. For myself, I do not grumble, for I am one of the lucky ones. I am 12 years old and have had over 400 children. Such is the natural life of a pig. But no animal escapes the cruel knife in the end. You young porkers who are sitting in front of me, every one of you will scream your lives out of the block within a year. To that horror we must all come, cows, pigs, hens, sheep, everyone. Even the horses and the dogs have no better fate. You, boxer, the very day that those great muscles of yours lose their power, Jones will sell you to the knacker, who will cut your throat and boil you down for the foxhounds. As for the dogs, when they grow old and toothless, Jones ties a brick round their necks and drowns them in the nearest pond. It is not crystal clear, comrades, that all the evils of this life of ours spring from the tyranny of human beings. Only get rid of man, and the produce of our labor would be our own. Almost overnight, we could become rich and free. What must then we do? Why work day and night, body and soul, for the overthrow of the human race? That is my message to you, comrades. Rebellion. I do not know what rebellion will come. It might be in a week or in 100 years, but I know, as surely as I see this straw beneath my feet, that sooner or later justice will be done. Fix your eyes on that, comrades. Throughout the short remainder of your lives, and above all, pass on this message of mine to those who come after you, so that the future generations shall carry on the struggle until it is victorious. And remember, comrades, your resolution must never falter. No argument must lead you astray. Never listen when they tell you that man and the animals have a common interest. The prosperity of one is the prosperity of the others. It is all lies. Man serves the interests of no creature except himself. And among us animals, let there be perfect unity, perfect comradeship in the struggle. All men are enemies. All animals are comrades.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Banned for sure. I was listening to that, and if that's chapter 1,
Exactly.
I mean, I guess, further in the book, I guess it'll say why they chose the Russian thing, maybe because of the word comrade. But if I got that as a teenager, like 12, 13, 14, 15, I would look very differently at it, especially if I got it at 17, 16, 17, 18. So like, 8th, 9th, 10th versus 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Those words stir fire. Like just listening, I'm like, oh, they could have been talking about us. They could have been talking about the oppression in the East or the oppression in the South. And I mean southern parts of the world, not the United States.
Yeah.
Wow. So this rebellion happens, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the animals start pillaging, I take it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to get my hands on that book. Actually, I might have to borrow that one from you.
Yeah, the overall effect of the book is a little lost on me, obviously, from middle school, but I still do remember partially the effect, but like that speech, it immediately, like you said, it was like black people, slavery, oppression, you know what I mean? That's the first thing that came to me, being a child of parents that came from the South, Louisiana. When my mom was in high school, the Ruby Bridges thing took place, and by the time she was done with high school, desegregation happened. So I was raised by people that went through that. My mom was like 18 or 19 when MLK was shot, and then eventually was murdered. So early on in childhood, it was very imperative for me to read things about my people, slavery, oppression, and all the things that have happened in this country's history. Because although I was raised in California, much less the Bay Area, things were still going on around the world, and it was important that I knew that history, and it was started early, which kind of created issues growing up, because in the Bay Area we're very quote unquote diverse, but there's a lot of indirect, direct racism, discrimination, and all these other things, like especially in the 80s and 90s, and still to this day. But that was something that was important. So when I got this book, it was very clear to me what this was about, and people may have coined it to be about Russia, but to me, it was immediately like, this man is writing about black people and what they went through. And I still feel that way. I don't know if that's been certified in any interviews or anything else the author wrote, but the author is very famous for these politically nuanced books. But this book was really transformative on me, along with the other things, and I think is very important, especially with the climate of politics in the world, the last few presidents we've had in the United States, and so much more. And I think that this is something that I really want to pass on to the people who have been we're so appreciative that have been on the journey with us on Books and Beats. And we hope that this stirs a fire in you just like it did me. And if you listen to the album, you'll see these things. Sometimes they're direct, sometimes they're indirect, sometimes they're nuanced, sometimes it's in your face, but it's always there. And this is what we're about. You know what I mean? And that is the essence of pillage.
Yeah. This has been another episode with your boy Profhit. The album is dropped.
Peasy.
And we will see y'all on the next episode.
So like I said, the album is out, and we are exclusively releasing the album with the streaming platform Adelo. So we hope you guys will support us, download it, check it out, stream it, all that. We will have the links for you, and we hope that you guys will continue on this journey with us. Until then, peace, love, and soul.